Go ahead, Max.
Hello, my name is Max. I'm a youth from Virginia, and my question is the following: the current climate crisis is a threat to the world and humanity as a whole. Amongst the Generation Z, this crisis is a very foreboding issue. As a result, there has been a mental health crisis amongst youth. Many cope with drugs, drinking, and other antisocial behavior. You can see this, and I have personally seen it, in the bathrooms, as my fellow youth express their alienation in the form of a vape pen between classes. Many are depressed, alienated, and even suicidal. Generation Z is looking for a way out of this crisis and is open to ideological direction. So, playing devil's advocate, and as a representative of my generation, what would socialism have to offer in comparison to capitalism in terms of solutions to climate change?
It's brilliant that in your question, Max, you linked the mental health crisis and the climate crisis. Because I think that when it comes to the climate crisis, the main answer, the main solution to the climate crisis that's being offered by the voices representing big capital is an answer that is resulting in a mental health crisis, right? So yeah, we got the far right wing, and they say that climate change isn't real. Oh, it's all made up. Climate change isn't real. It snowed last summer. It snowed last winter. It can't be real. Climate change is all made up. It's a communist conspiracy to hurt my profits. But aside from that, right, the main voices highlighting the very real problems of climate change, the main voices that are doing it, they have come forward and they have said the answer to the climate crisis is reducing human consumption, right? And reducing the human population. Barack Obama actually went to South Africa and said that if everyone on the continent had a house and a car, that it would destroy the planet, and basically told the people of Africa that they had to stay poor because of the climate crisis. And that we're constantly being told, don't have children, don't grow up because that'll hurt, Mother Nature. And the answer to the climate crisis is an end of historical progress. And if you are a young person and society is telling you that there is no future, don't have children, don't try to increase your living standard. We need living standards to go down. We need the human population to go down. We need to move backwards. The human race has gone too far. That is a very depressing message. You can't live your life with that message. You can't go through life being told you need to be poorer. You can't go through life being told that humanity has gone too far. And that message is completely wrong. The answer to climate change is not an end to human progress. It is not reducing the human population. It is not driving down living standards. The answer to the climate crisis is progress. We have to get away from the prison called fossil fuels, right? Fossil fuels is a prison for humanity, and we need to get to a higher fuel source, not just nuclear power, but fusion power. And the fact that Russia and China are now calling for international cooperation around fusion energy, that is the optimistic hope for the climate crisis. If we could get to a global economy that is not centered around oil, right, and get to a mode of producing energy that was not one that would result in the climate crisis and the greenhouse gas effect, we could get to a much better world, right? We could solve this problem very quickly. Look, folks, the reason that moon mission, right, the Chang'e moon mission was so important is because on the far side of the moon, there is a substance that they call helium-3. And it's very rare, on Earth that you'll find helium-3. But it's all over the far side of the moon. They sometimes call it the dark side of the moon, but it's not dark, but it's the far side of the moon. And it's all over the far side of the moon. And helium-3, if it could be utilized in fusion energy, would be a huge game changer, right? I mean, they talk about just a little bit of helium-3 could electrify the entire planet for 100 years, right? The potential of helium-3 is massive. And that the fossil fuel economy, if you look at Wall Street, all the big banks, right, are tied to oil companies, right? ExxonMobil, that's Chase Bank. HSBC Bank, that's British Petroleum, right? That keeping the world on fossil fuels is a way that Wall Street and London can stay at the center of the global economy. But getting humanity off of fossil fuels and getting to a higher fuel source that is not going to heat up the planet is a way out, not just of the climate crisis, but of capitalism. And that's why they don't want to have the conversation about a real solution to climate change. They want to have a Malthusian conversation. They want to have a reducing consumption conversation. Really, you know, the entire ruling class seems to agree that we need to drive down living standards right now. The question is, how do we do it, right? Do we let the free market work its course, get rid of the minimum wage, get rid of social programs, austerity, and just cut everybody and let everyone starve on the street? Or do we do it in a gradual, controlled way? We give everyone a little bit of universal basic income, you know, put some Netflix series out that encourage people to commit suicide, you know, just make, you know, gradually tell people there's no hope. And do we gradually, you know, just have a controlled, careful reduction in human living standards and the human population? Or do we have a free market austerity regime? That's the difference. But the whole bourgeoisie seems to agree that the working people have too much. That's what they agree on. And the socialist movement says, no, the problem is that profits are in command. The problem is that capitalism is in command, and human beings are capable of inventing higher modes of production, higher fuel sources, conquering outer space, doing things that are amazing, right? That you have to imagine what's going on right now. Imagine there's a game of King of the Mountain, right? And one kid gets to the top and he says, oh, we got to stop the game. We got to stop the game, climate change. But that's what they're doing, right? You know, they've decided the solution to climate change must leave them at the top of the world. Well, the solution to climate change is to get them off the top of the world and get working people in power. That's the solution to climate change. And that's an optimistic message. And there's a lot of fake, stupid optimism in the United States, right? You know, is the glass half empty or half full? You know, I mean, you know, there's a lot of stupid optimism. So the reason I think a lot of young people are put off by optimism is because there's so much of this stupid, you know, how to win friends and influence people. Gee golly, anyone can get rich if they just talk. There's a lot of stupid optimism. So, you know, I don't want to give you stupid optimism. I want to give you an optimism that says that by understanding the nature of the universe, dialectical and historical materialism, we can get beyond the horrors of the present world. So that's what I'm about.